Folks, I've covered this before in other videos, but I want to go back to it just to be a little bit more in-depth. This is the 25-point program of the NSDAP. Now, if you don't know what that is the National Socialist Party that was put into power when Adolf Hitler took control of Germany. Now, I'm going to go through each of these 25 points briefly, and I want you to think about how many of these are now mimicked today in our current thinking and in our current direction of our country. Once we go through this, I'm going to make an allegation, and I think it's probably going to be one of the most shocking that I've ever made. But I've been thinking about it and praying about it and researching it, and I do really believe that it is a definite possibility. So without any further ado, number one, we demand the unification of all Germans in the Greater Germany on the basis of the people's right to self-determination. Okay, that's American nationalism. We demand equality of rights for the German people in respect to the other nations' abrogations of the peace treaties of Versailles and Saint-Germain. This is the pushback against what is believed to be the New World Order. We demand land and territory for the sustenance of our people and colonization for our surplus population. Well, this is manifest destiny. This is eminent domain. Only a member of the race can be a citizen. A member of the race can only be one who is of German blood without consideration of creed. Consequently, no Jew can be a member of the race. Well, a lot of people don't realize that Jew is not only a religion, it's also a race of people. But this here is exactly what we're talking about with the immigration issue. Whoever has no citizenship is to be able to live in Germany only as a guest and must be under the authority of legislation for foreigners. Once again, this is green card stuff. This is exactly what's going on today. 6. The right to determine matters concerning administration and law belong only to citizens. Therefore, we demand that every public office of any sort whatsoever, whether in the Reich, the county, or the municipality, be filled only by citizens. We combat the corrupting parliamentary economy, office holding only according to party inclinations, without consideration of character or abilities. Once again, this is the exact same thing. This is about not having anybody other than American citizens in positions of power. 7. We demand that the state be charged first with providing the opportunity for a livelihood and way of life for the citizens. If it is impossible to sustain the total population of the state, then the members of foreign nations are to be expelled from the Reich. Aren't we? Isn't this exactly what Donald Trump is talking about? Mass deportations? Because the economy is so bad? Any further immigration of non-citizens is to be prevented. We demand that all non-Germans who have immigrated to Germany since 2 August 1914 be forced immediately to leave the Reich. Once again, exactly what Donald Trump wants. All citizens must have equal rights and obligations. The first obligation of every citizen must be to work both spiritually and physically. The activity of individuals is not to counteract the interest of the universality, but must have its result within the framework of the whole for the benefit of all. Well, that means that you no longer have a first obligation to your own self-interest, it's to the interest of the group. That sounds like where we're heading, folks. Abolition of unearned work and labor incomes, breaking of debt, interest, slavery. That's getting rid of the banks. Right there. That is exactly what that means. In consideration of the monstrous sacrifice in property and blood that each war demands of the people, personal enrichment through a war must be designated as a crime against the people. Well, that gets rid of the military-industrial complex. We demand the nationalization of all previous associated industries. That's just reiterating the point. We demand a division of profits of all heavy industries. This is exactly where Donald Trump is taking us. We demand an expansion on a large scale of old age welfare. Okay, that's Medicare. We demand the creation of a healthy middle class and its conservation. Immediate communalization of the great warehouses and their being leased at low cost to small firms, the utmost consideration of all small firms in contracts with the state, county, or municipality. Carrier. This is exactly what he's doing. We demand a land reform suitable to our needs, provision of a law for the free expropriation of land for for the purposes of public utility, abolition of taxes on land, and prevention of all speculation inland. If you go back to what Donald Trump said in 1991 about the 1986 Tax Act, exactly this. We demand struggle without consideration against those whose activities injurious to the general interest. Common national criminals, usurers, profiteers, and so forth are to be punished with death without consideration of confession or race. Common national usurers. Okay, these are loan sharks. We demand substitution of a German common law in place of the Roman law, serving a materialistic world order. This is a video in and of itself of German common law versus Roman law, and I don't have time to get into it in this video. The state is to be responsible for a fundamental reconstruction of our whole national education program to enable every capable and industrious German to obtain higher education and subsequently introduction into leading positions. Now, this basically right here is what Donald Trump is talking about when he wants to reform the education system and take control of state universities. The state is to care for the elevating national health by protecting the mother and child, by outlawing child labor, by the encouragement of physical fitness, by the means of legal establishment of a gymnastic and sport obligation, by the utmost support of all organizations concerned with the physical instruction of the young. This was him attempting to build an army. We demand the abolition of the mercenary troops and formation of a national army. Well, we've already done that. We've done that a long time ago, but it was all part of the plan. Here's the big one. We demand legal opposition to known lies and their promulgation through the press. In order to enable the provision of a German press, we demand that all writers and employees of the newspaper appearing in the German language be members of the race. Non-German newspapers be required to have the express permission of the state to be published. They may not be printed in the German language. Non-Germans are forbidden by law any financial interest in German publications or any influence on them, and as punishment for violations, the closing of such a publication, as well as the immediate expulsion from the Reich of the non-German concerned. Publications which are counter to the general good are to be forbidden. We demand legal prosecution of artistic and literary forms which exert a destructive influence on our national life, and the closure of organizations opposing the above-made demands. This is the fake news thing. It is written down here in specifics. This is exactly what they're going to do. Speak against dear leader Trump, and if you even try to make money or you for profit attempt to say anything other than what makes everybody happy and non-controversial, you'll have everything seized and you'll be kicked out. This is exactly what it is, folks. This is exactly what he wants to do. And if he does take office, this will be his #1 priority. His #1 priority. If the alt-right thinks that because they got this man elected that they're going to have some special place in his heart, they need to think again. We demand freedom of religion for all religious denominations within the state, so long as they do not endanger its existence or oppose the moral senses of the Germanic race. Really? Well, I think that much pretty much speaks for itself. There's going to be one national religion. For the execution of all this, we demand the formation of a strong central power in the Reich, unlimited authority of the central parliament over the whole Reich and its organizations in general, the forming of state and profession chambers for the execution of the laws made by the Reich within the various states of the Confederation. The leaders of the party promise, if necessary, by sacrificing their own lives, to support by the execution of the points set forth above without consideration. This basically is the Department of Homeland Security. So all of this has been done. This has all been done and all been in the works for a very long time. Now, I didn't want to waste 8 minutes and 50 seconds on all that, but I needed to cover it because of point 23. To give it, that's the fake news thing. We're going to go here to this definition of the word libel. Okay? A published false statement that is damaging to a person's reputation or written defamation. The action or crime of publishing a false statement about a person, a thing or circumstance that brings undeserved credit on a person by misrepresentation. Now, why is that important? Article 2 says very clearly, and everybody has probably read this a million times, that the Electoral College chooses the president. We are not a majority vote country. What happens on November 7th has no legal standing, no binding standing in any election whatsoever. Now, you may argue whether the electors are bound to reflect that or not bound to reflect that, but the fact that stating that we elect a president on the 7th of November is known to be false. We do not elect anybody president on the 7th of November. It happens on December 19th. And that is in the Constitution and provably false. Now, the definition of vote. Okay? A formal indication of a choice between two or more candidates of course of action. That just reiterates my point, that the electors vote. And the word vote means a formal indication of a choice. So this is when the president is chosen. Now, we go to this. This is a news organization, along with many others. I just chose this one because it was a good picture. Donald Trump elected president. That is the very definition of libel. When they reported this man was elected president, this was libel and will be able to be seen, in my humble opinion, as a coercive force upon the electors of the meeting. Because all of the allegations that I've seen down here in every one of my videos is that, what are you trying to do? Start a civil war? Meaning that most Americans believe that they have already elected a man president, and this would be taking something away from them that they've already had, when they never had it to begin with. Why do Americans believe that they've already elected a president? Because of this libelous statement. This knowingly false, provably false statement that Donald Trump was elected president. It could be stated that the states have conducted their elections, and as a result, we have determined the political makeup of the Electoral College, that 306 electors from the Republican Party and 229 electors from the Democrat Party are going to go to the meeting. We could state that. We could state that it might be a possibility that, or maybe even a likelihood, that they will vote along party lines, and then on the 19th, he will be elected president. But to make this statement on the 7th or 8th of November is libel. And I think the judges in the Colorado case, where the electors are attempting to say that the state of Colorado is coercing them to vote for Hillary Clinton, I think they know that opens up this can of worms. That if they do in fact rule that the electors have choice and do vote on the 19th of December in a positive way, that makes anything that happens before this non-binding and makes this statement libelous and goes right back to this. This is how they're going to be able to take control of the media, folks. This is how they're going to do it. They're going to say that false news is going to be anything provably false, whether that's on the internet or whether that's over the TV, and they will take control of the media. And once they get control of the media, we've seen what happens. I outlined with Megyn Kelly. She lives under armed guard. She used the man's quotes against him, and now she lives under armed guard. If you think this man is some new bastion of freedom, that he's going to be some force for the Republic, think again. Think again, folks. He is not. This isn't about Democrat or Republican now. This is about losing our national sovereignty. And if you go back to my very first video on the 1st of November, go down in the comment section, or not the comment section, but in the description, you'll see I stated clearly national sovereignty in jeopardy on the 1st, 7 days before the election even took place. So I know this sounds all tin hat, and this sounds all conspiracy theory, but I just walked you through what libel is, what voting means, what Article 2 says, the National Socialist Program, and what was done on the 7th of November, and why people think that there would be a civil war. The reason people think there would be a civil war is because there is a bunch of people out there right now who believe that we elected a president, falsely believe we elected a president, and they believe something is being taken from them on the 19th. And the only reason they believe that is because of false statements made through the media. And if those false statements lead to violence, this is how this is going to be played out. So anyway, happy Sunday, everyone, and Merry Christmas. Thank you for watching.